truly on like what's important to the client. So, by the way, I read him this, Michael. Did I send you my new thing on the 3 keys to converting leads into closed loans?
No, not yet.
Mm-mm. So I read this to him. I said, Greg, here's the weird part about the loan business now. There's 3 keys for loan officers to convert people. The first one is mastering the procedural part of getting a loan. The second one is mastering the advice and counsel part. And the third one is the discrepancy part. And he was like, oh. And I said, well, the procedural part is like a processor. How do you show the clients how to get a loan? What do they need to provide? What's the step-by-step? What things happen in what order? What should they avoid? And what do the different team members on your team do to help them? Like, that's the procedural part of getting a loan, right? I said, but the advice and counsel part is, how do you ask important questions to your clients? What are those questions? What do your clients actually, quote, know about their budget and about their money decisions? What are their real estate plans and planning needs? What can you teach them? Are they aware of things that they're not aware of? Can you actually tailor the outcome once you know their needs? That's what Smart Start is, by the way. Smart Start's both procedural and advice and counsel. But then this is what I said to him. I said, the last part, Greg, is the discrepancy part. Guess what I put under discrepancy? Where does this deal fuck up? What can go wrong? Timing, urgency, skill in negotiation, availability, and I don't know what else to put under discrepancy. Because that's where the rubber meets the road, guys. Like, we can all know procedure, and we can all think we're pretty good at advice and counsel, but then like the discrepancy part of the loan is the part where, can you learn more face-to-face about potential things than over the phone? That's a question to you.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah, if you all don't believe that, I think, do they do court cases outside of a courtroom, or is there a jury and there's a judge and there's attorneys and everybody's looking at everybody? And I bet you juries make more decisions on their yes or no, guilty or not guilty, based on body language and physical movement inside the courtroom than words spoken. Agree or disagree on that?
Agree.
Yeah, for sure.
Agree.
Unequivocally agree.
Yeah, so the discrepancy part can be something that, like, being face-to-face when you sell the realtor, because one of the things that I was getting in the sale to him was that he didn't want it to be inconvenient to his clients that just wanted information. Like, write that down, because that's a lot of realtors. They don't want it to be inconvenient for their client. So
would you say to that? I mean, is that something he brought up in the beginning or towards the end?
Hold on, I'm going to switch over. Oop. I said, we've been doing this long enough, Greg, that with the initial triangle and the initial phone call, we want to tell people we don't want to waste their time. Like, when you get the hurry up guy, which is really 1 out of 20, you just have to have the confidence. We have to have the confidence to tell your client that, hey, you're referring us for a reason. We don't want to waste your time. And this is what we do. And this is how we do it. This is how we make successful transactions happen. So it's kind of like, Michael, if they're thinking this is a sales ploy, which I guess in the end, if you really want to say it could be, I just go to, I don't think it is. I think it's more of a consultant mindset of, if you want to learn from me, you're going to do it on my turf. You're coming to ask me for advice about a loan and or rates. I'm going to do it my way first. Otherwise, I just lose my rhythm and my ability to kind of do the best for you, right? So if they're worried about time, and Greg kind of mentioned that, long story short, I just said, hey, some clients won't fit. And guess what? If they don't bite 1 or 2 times and it's really just about the numbers, Greg, we'll just say, hey, what do you think your credit score is? Okay. And real quick, what do you think your salary is? Okay, you're salaried. Oh, and you want to put 25% down? Okay, cool. You know what we'll do? We'll shortcut everything and give you a mortgage scale. And then I said, and guess what, Greg? Guess what everybody does with their mortgage scales or figures when a client's like that?
Low balls.
Wait, I'm about to give you the shirt off my back. Yeah, it's called the bullshit deal. Everybody just quotes their rates at 98 at par. Everybody cuts. The client's not under contract. Everybody's just fishing. So the guy's got a misquote from everybody and no commitment from any lender. Oh, well, good luck. I think we think that that's what every one of our clients is, by the way. Andy, you ever feel that way? That every one of your clients, that's what it is, or no?
Yeah, they come in bunches. So when I get 1 or 2, then I start thinking that.
Yeah. You're only as good as your last couple of clients. Anybody else? What do you think what do you think realtors' concerns are with Smart Start? I just want to go around the room.
Concerns with having the process?
Oh,
Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, just like, hey, Greg Buttercup at Guaranteed Rate and Ron Rumstein at Cross Country. Let's just pick the 3 biggest competitors. Cross Country, Guaranteed Rate, pick one more lender.
Loan Depot.
And Sally Smith at Loan Depot. I mean, they just do it all over the phone. Why would I do this with you?
I feel like there's a handful of realtors out there that have gotten so used to the brand new call on a Friday. Hey, let's go see a property on Saturday. Hey, let's try to write up an offer on Sunday, that they think if we're trying to meet with every single person that they just showed a house to for the first time, it's going to like slow down their mojo and hold them back from being able to put an offer in. When obviously that's so short-sighted and risky as hell. But like they think that's their highest operating potential, is to do it quickly like that. And so I've gotten that pushback where it's like they wanted to work with someone who wasn't gonna elongate that timeline from initial call to approval, whatever that approval looks like, whether it's a pre-qual or what.
I completely agree with that. Same pushback, and it's resetting the realtor's mind on getting the pre-approval earlier so that we have time to actually do it properly.
Ready? And here's my argument to that. How often does that transaction? First of all, let's just rewind. The largest decision of someone's life, you're doing this in 24 to 48 hours, Mrs. Realtor? Role play with me, Natalie.
Well, I'm just working with my client. My client just came to me. They saw a house online. And
Okay, so no, but Natalie, let's be real. I've done this for a while. I don't want to sugarcoat anything. Are those transactions super stressful?
absolutely, I agree with you.
So it's an ad-generated lead that says, jump, Natalie. Let's go look at a home, and you're supposed to trust everything, and I'm supposed to jump lickety-split and tell you they're good to go right away.
Well, I don't want to lose the deal still. Things are very, shy today.
Okay, so here's the thing, right? Natalie, it's 2023. People are scared. Do you agree or disagree?
I agree, but can't you just take a look at it and then we'll do all this next week?
Natalie, let's have a real conversation, because I can't edify you with what other lenders do. I got to tell you what I do in my mindset so that you can understand whether we're a good fit or not on this.
Well, I get on the good fit for the future, but this particular client just really needs this done right now.
Okay, and here's my thing. Does that transaction create a ton of stress and a lot of times blow up?
It can, but we can fix all that next week.
Okay, Natalie, you sound stressed out. You sound like I would fire you at the end of this coffee because you're way too. Natalie, let's be honest. You're desperate. You are desperate.
Hey, I'm just a realtor.
Okay.
You want a payday. You
By
want
the
to
way,
go to the bank.
Natalie, you haven't filed your 2022s. You don't save
No,
any.
I just keep extending them because I got to pay all that back, and
You're a
I need more deals
you're a
to be able to
fucking
pay it back.
bastard, Natalie. You're
Well,
a
if you just give me my pre-call, if you just give me my pre-approval letter, then I can close this out for us both, and I can pay my taxes.
Natalie, you're a nightmare. And guess what? There's a thing where the guy gets the football and he punches it. Like, but here's the thing,
Hey,
guys.
I'm a good kicker.
By the way, if you can't argue this with a realtor and go
You're not gonna make it.
up and say, hey, the only leads we're talking about are these dipshit buyers that are in a hurry that create stress for everyone. And then we fuck up the loan approval. You fuck up the contract. We hurry to communicate with the listing agent. Then we're scrambling. Then the deal goes sideways. Then they don't trust us. And then we're all chasing our tail. Natalie, do you agree or disagree?
I absolutely agree, Brenda. I'm going to tell them they cannot see this house this weekend, and they will have to schedule with you.
Yeah. Cool. Well, here's the thing.
Victory.
Well, Natalie, you can say whatever you want to placate anybody and say, hey, we'll bend the rules. We'll bend the rules and do a quickie for those types of people. You can say that. You can say that.
All right.
Or one day you can say, no, every time we do that, Natalie, it comes to bite us in the ass. And so what I'd like to do is figure out why you're getting clients like that, because we know they're stressful and we know they can pay the bills, but what's the cost to the operation? What's the true cost to you? Where were all the other good clients that got vampired because we took the Friday afternoon Zillow lead that sucked up all of our time for 2 weeks?
Yeah, I think you got to look back at the root, the root cause of those referrals coming in, right? And I think it depends on how people are doing business. I think more realtors today are concerned about their buyers' flakiness and are they committed to buying. And I have realtors that are saying, hey, look, Michael, what are you saying to clients right now that are on the fence? So right now, more than ever, I think our realtors, I would say 9 out of 10, want us to do whatever we can do to make it so that the buyers are confident, they're all in. When we send them back to the realtor and say, hey, they're ready to go, we have to explain the whole Smart Start process, what we're going through, because it's going to only solidify them as a buyer. People are flaky right now. They're not all in. And it's our job through the Smart Start process to they're either all in when the Smart Start's over, or there's a plan. Maybe they're not ready, right? Or maybe they can't buy. There's either a plan to execute or they're all in right now. And I think if your realtors see that, they see the byproduct of what we do, they have no problem with it. They're actually going to endorse it and they're going to push it. Do we all agree with that?
Absolutely.
Buyers are flaky. They're non-committal. I've got more leads now that are, they come, they go. They're not sure. They're not ready. How does somebody become sure? Only through information and education. That's it.
Yeah.
I had a referral
Or
a week
low
ago.
rate.
I had a referral a week ago, and talking to, it was on a Saturday. Their whole decision was, should we make application to see what the numbers are? They couldn't even make that decision. They're like, I think we're going to hold off. I'm like, hold off on what? Hold off on looking to see if you want to buy a home? I think it's more important to look at numbers and look at data, then make a decision. We don't even, it's crazy right now. So I think if realtors understand what happens through that Smart Start, in the funnel, out of the funnel. What does a buyer look like going into the meeting? What do they look like coming out of the meeting? And if we can illustrate that properly, every realtor would want their buyers to go through this process. Right?
Right.
So how do you, so again, I think the question is how do you relay that, right? The realtors we work with day to day for the last, X amount of years, they get it. They understand that. But it's the new realtors, right? And I think also asking them what are they having a hard time with right now? I think a lot of realtors are having a hard time getting buyers committed. That's what I see on my side. So we have an excellent tool to help bridge that gap, bring them to the side of, hey, look, these buyers are committed, they're ready to go. What realtor doesn't want that? They
That's
all
such a
want
good
that,
point.
right?
Yeah.
They don't know what they don't know. So it's our job to illustrate that and educate them. Period.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I
So
think that's a great point to lead off that question too, because a lot of times when I ask, what are your challenges, especially if it's a new realtor, they go to ego mode and they're like, oh, challenges. I don't have any challenges, and you kind of have to worm through that kind of conversation. I think that's a great point to kind of bring up that challenge as a way to segue into that challenge conversation.
right. Couldn't you just pose the question of, hey, Santos, I know you've been in real estate for a while. Do you see, I mean, are you seeing the buyers are just not as committed? They're just not sure right now. They're not committed and they really need
Absolutely.
thorough, they need some information and education to see what does it mean to buy a home? What does it look like to buy a home right now? I just see that people are non-committal. What are you seeing out there? Of course they're going to see the same thing.
Yeah, that's gold.
I mean, it's just we all see it. So what other concerns anything else that we haven't addressed? Like what else are you guys hearing out there?
Well, I think it's just a good idea to let the realtors know that this is good to help retain clients, just to keep them around. Like they do 5 to 7 loans their whole life. Why lose them ever?
Exactly. Right. And that goes back to the deepen the relationship, right? That Brendan was talking about in the beginning, right? Customer for life, right? That's like a slogan. I want to be your lender for life, right? But yeah, what do we do to create that? So, we did a webinar for realtors. I guess it's about a month ago on overcoming common buyer objections, right? And buyers are just flaky, right? They're just unsure. They hear all this media buzz that's now is a terrible time to buy a home. Rates are sky high, all these things, and they just have bad information floating in their mind. So if you think about the Smart Start as a cleanse, right? You're cleansing their mind of all the garbage that's sifting through there, and you take them from A to Z. You're just filtering out the BS, right? And you come out at the end of that meeting, at the end of that consultation, and they should be pretty crystal clear on what does the market look like for them specifically, for their numbers, when you're comparing their rent versus their mortgage purchase, right? Like, what does it mean for them? And I think only at that point can they make a really good decision if it makes sense for them to buy. So if you can explain to the realtors that, hey, we're going to after we put them through our process, we're going to kick them back to you, and you've got this perfectly programmed buyer that is 100% in, and they are ready to go. It's going to make the realtor's job a hell of a lot easier.
Yeah.
It's going to shorten their cycle. They're not going to be driving them around for 4 months. They're going to be driving them around for 30 days, 45 days. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it and said it differently, but the same. And I said this to the guy yesterday. I said, Greg, we're kind of like business partners in the end. So if the client, think of this like an airplane. And if you're at the front of the airplane and you're the pilot and you're the left wing, like the lender is the right wing and the tail. And you need us to make the thing go smoothly. We can talk about title companies, inspectors, appraisers. They're just inside the plane because we put them in there. But we control everything. You as the pilot and the left wing, us as the right wing and the tail. And if we don't do a good job on the front end or we hurry, the plane crashes. So like if we're cheating the laws of quality and like knowledge and we skip all that, our clients get a lack of quality and they're not fully educated going in. That means the plane's going to crash.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
And I can't tell you any other way. Like I'm not going to lie to you and edify you right now. Everybody's struggling. Clients are nervous. See, this shit doesn't work when rates are 3.25 and dipshit loan officers at call centers are crushing it, doing $3 million a month, all you can eat buffet. This shit works now. Use it now. Stand your ground now. Don't cave. Clients are scared. If you can make them strong mentally because you're using the tools, you're going to get the client.
Yep.
And by the way, in the end, you got to say this. It's totally okay if you still want to work with an over-the-phone lender. I can't do that anymore. It doesn't work for me.
Yep.
I feel like a slave to your shitbag leads. And by the way, my boss looked at all the credit pulls and said I should stop working with you.
Yeah.
I mean, who's going to have the huevos rancheros to tell a client that? Could you? Hey, we've had 11 credit pulls. My branch has spent $1,400 on credit reports on your shitty leads, and I've got no loans to show for it.
I do think you can. This goes back to like coaching the realtor on how to refer and when to refer a client, right?
Yeah.
Early on in the process, not the day that you want to look at a home, right? You know, that's again coaching. What is you have to, your realtors need to know when to refer them over and how to refer them over, right? What's ideal for you? How does it benefit them? How does it benefit the borrower? If all of our realtors see the byproduct of what we do, everybody would do it. Why wouldn't they? They just don't know. That's the problem.
Yeah. And I think everything in when you get into Chris Voss world is a negotiation. And if you're like, Natalie, you when we were doing our role play and you were getting more amped up, I mean, that's probably pretty typical of a realtor. And you could just say, hey, but hold on a second. Like when clients are just diving in and they just met you and then they want to go look at homes, like what do you think they're thinking? Like I'm thinking of Chris Voss in his videos where he's got the scruff and he's got the New Orleans accent and it's like late night DJ. I mean, and if you get a realtor frenzied going, well, I mean, they're just nervous. And like, so if they're really nervous, does like going faster help? Well, I mean, now that you like, if you can get a realtor to go, oh my God, like Natalie, thank you for like letting me experience my spastic self and realizing that like I'm chasing my tail with these people. Well, yeah. So like, what should we do instead? Maybe we hold our ground. Like,
yep.
Who knows?
That's
like,
right.
Betty, what if you told every Zillow lead that you have to meet with Natalie because when Natalie and I work together and do what we do, you are lucky to find us on Zillow. There's no obligation when you meet with Natalie or me, but if you go through our buyer certified program and her Smart Start, we will guarantee you this. You won't make a mistake. And that's it. Close with that. Like you will avoid mistakes. Well, I mean, are you saying that if you go show me a house right now, I'm going to screw something up? Probably. Yes. In my experience, when it happens this fast And I get that this house just went on the market, but I've got to slow you down. I don't know. Could be worth it. Remember, we're in a stress business, and if we grab on to more stressful cases, this is how we quit the business. This is how we literally drive ourselves insane and go, why do we hate what we do? Well, we never took a stand for anything. Where's Grant? Where's G Money?
Grant was on. I saw him.
Rob, you're selling smart starts. Somebody else talk. It's just me and Michael, 80%.
Yeah, who's got a good
somebody show up and tell us what you've done.
Breakthrough. Come on.
Sam, somebody. If not, let's talk about Israel. Let's talk about something historic. Let's talk about Memphis versus Nashville, because nobody has any input on their smart start selling today.
Can I comment on it real quick? And I
Go
know
ahead.
I'm the new guy.
Please.
I know I'm the new guy, and I'm still learning a lot, but I think if you're looking for complicated situations, then it's going to be complicated, right? So the Smart Start simplifies the whole process for everyone, right? And for me, I use it as a tool, kind of like what we were talking about last week, was how do you approach realtors? Well, you approach them with your proposition value plan, right? Like, what value do you bring? And that's it. And once you kind of go through that with them, just like Michael said, it kind of takes the concern away from them to let them know that how you're going to care for your clients. So, I mean, I use it as just a tool with a couple other things as well when I'm talking to new realtors or whatever. But I think if you make it simple, then you're going to get simple reactions and processes from it.
Well,
yeah, very good.
Brendan, something that I've done with even existing realtors or some that are kind of, refer every now and then, whenever they refer, have the conversation with the referral and then text, hey, thanks for referring so-and-so, had a great 10-minute conversation with them. They're an ideal candidate for a Smart Start meeting. And even if you haven't had in detail what that is, then they literally, Smart Start meeting, what's that? So you kind of just say it almost like you assume they know, and then they inquire about it and kind of get them curious about it.
Brendan, there's something going on with your sound.
Somebody's got
messed up.
bad reception. There we go. Yeah, it's a good point. I don't know who that is.
It's Brendan. The purple frame around the picture will always tell you who it is. The leader of the call. I love it.
So good point, Aaron. I love that. And also too, think about it. Like, think about make the phone call to the realtor at the end of the Smart Start before the customers leave. Get the realtor. Brendan, I think you got interference. Yeah, I don't know what it is. He's getting frustrated. Rob, go help Brendan. Call the.
Somebody took his stapler.
The Smart Start goes awesome. You're in your office. They're about ready to leave and say, hey, let's call Sally. Sally's the realtor. Let's call your realtor. Let's have a conversation. Let's let her know where we're at. And have we done that? Like, I've done that a few times. I should do that more often. If the realtor sees how jacked up and pumped they are after the Smart Start meeting, that gives positive reinforcement. They want to do this again and again. So those are some just small tactics that we can do to get buy-in.
Just using the verbiage, like literally, like, oh yeah, meet with the realtor. Oh, I had this couple in for a Smart Start. Like I said, just having it become part of your verbiage or vernacular.
Yeah. In the end, the more of these meetings you do, the better you will get, just like anything, and the more you will want to have them. Right, Brendan? I was more of a, I did a lot over the phone years ago, and I've over time morphed into more and more face-to-face meetings because they're valuable. Realtors have less. We have less eggs. They have less eggs in the basket right now. There are less buyers. Why would you not want to do everything you can possibly do guard that basket, right? And to make sure that these buyers are 100% in. I mean,
yeah, and I think in the end, it's Michael, if you're now feeling this sense of like, if I don't do it, I don't know where my bearings are. Like I'm losing a little bit of control.
Yep.
I think that's, by the way, that's what a consultant feels when they're not doing it the way they know is best. That like you're now a consultant versus a salesman.
Right.
Because to convert a salesman to a consultant, the salesman thinks I've got to get this estimate out there quick. I've got to make the referring party really happy. I'm a dog. They threw me a bone. I've got to go get it and bring it back fast. This is speed to lead. This is what I do. Seal. Right. I'm a seal.
Yep.
And I think when you're like, wait a minute, I did it that way, and now I don't feel like I'm doing this client a service, and they're getting frustrated, then you've lost everything. You're like, not only did salesman not work, but I half-assed consultant, and it's all shit. It's shit soup now.
Yep.
So ultimately, yes, converting and using tools like what Parker said, and being able to sell it to a realtor, being able to like explain it in detail and the benefits, overcoming the objections, all this stuff. Like in the end, some realtors are going to love it and some want to keep what they've got. And that's, Sam, you got a question kind of in closing.
I do. And I like Mike, do you remember what Brian and Seth always taught us? And I'm sure that even though we're on the different sides of the company, what did they tell us? They told us sell the appointment. That's what we were told, was sell the appointment. Don't sell anything else. Sell the appointment. And guys, I sell a lot. I'm in a different quote unquote sale than you, but I always know that my best chance is in person, which doesn't say a lot for me, but my best chance is in person. So my order of operations is if I can get in front of them in person, great. Sometimes distance, cost, and the number of calls that I'm going to have to make it. So I go Zoom or Teams in person. Like I always try to be in person. Brendan, from the perspective of bridging the gap between face-to-face and Zoom/Teams, how do you feel about that? And then I do have one more question. You're muted.
You're muted, Brendan.
All right. Yeah, because I can't get a computer system that works. I've got to spend $10 million. I want to trash all my shit.
Does this happen to you a lot?
I don't fucking know. I've got.
What's the common denominator? I'm asking for a friend.
It's this piece of shit.
It does happen a lot.
And that
does
piece
happen
of shit.
a lot.
One guy with a lot of technology problems. It's always the tech. Got it. You're on mute.
I think so. I can answer this.
I heard you.
So face to face.
Punched over. Sorry.
90. What do we say? 93% of communication is body language, facial expression. So, face to face, 100% the best way to go, of course. Yeah. Zoom, Teams is a second, right? Second place. I mean, if you have to, like, if you're 2 states away, they're not going to come see you. Absolutely Zoom or Teams, because you get, you could still get a similar impact. You could still see them, build a connection. But of course, if they're 20 minutes down the road, you want to get them in the office. Yeah, 40 minutes, an hour.
And Michael, do you remember before I moved here, I had that set up that the guy professionally did with this piece of shit equipment that actually worked 2 years ago?
I do.
And I had a bounce light and I had a board and like my face, like Sam looks the best on this call. Parker, you're like, it looks cool, but you're kind of dark. Andy, you look better. Benton looks like he's in a cubicle. I look like I'm hunched over a shitty laptop. So like, if you're going to go virtual, the guy who taught me like how to do it was Rene Rodriguez. And he said, hey, look like you're an ESPN announcer, spend the money. But here's the one thing, Sam, that virtual just doesn't get. You're a hands guy, but like, look at Parker. Okay, I'm on a Smart Start with him and his wife. He looks like a poker player. I look, oh, he's smiling a little bit, but like I can't get a read on him. It's hard when you're like this. And then the other thing is we all get real visual. And then it's like, okay, what about when I need to show you something and share screen? Mm-hmm. It's just different, you know, like it's different learning. And I think that part of that, when I read you guys that thing, hey, there's procedure and then there's like education and consult. I don't know how to teach people how to teach, but I can tell you right now, it's a lot easier face to face. It's a lot easier to be a math professor or a chemistry professor when I can see the 20 students and I got the element chart and I'm staring at Sam who's looking at his phone. Hey, Sam, gold, point to it. Oh, it's right there, sir. Like, it's just an easier dynamic versus what we're doing right now.
No, and I get it. And I agree. And I try to get in person every single time I can, but sometimes I can't. And I find now that if I'm on the phone with somebody, it bothers me because I'm not getting anything. And I agree with you. Parker, you're hard to read. You might be smiling, right? I'm a dead giveaway. My last question for you, Brendan, and Mike, I mean, and everybody, like, if you go to a realtor and you explain Smart Start to them, and you know that if you got to work with them their way the first 2 to 3 times and you did a great job, they might be open to Smart Start in the future. If they tell you, Brendan, my customers don't have time for this, I'm not interested, do you even bother working with them?
I would say I just statistically, Sam, I don't understand your comment. And here's why. I've done this 28 years. Sam, I've worked with all sorts of realtors, $150 million agents down to $2 million agents. Clients come in, 8 out of 10 randomly referred clients over a 20-year batch fill out our intake form and they write no, 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 no on financial planner, help with money, I do a budget, and I'm aware of my financial well-being. And I know how much I'm saving a month. They circle no to all that. Sam, your clients do the same. I think what you're telling me is that you want something done fast and good. So there's a thing called good, fast, cheap. Pick any two. You want good and fast. I don't know how that, like, good and fast in our industry right now is kind of an oxymoron. It really is. Things have to be good, and I think it takes time. And I just don't know if we're a good fit. And I'll just tell you from my experience, my actual learning experience with human beings, looking at money. Sam, can I ask you a question? It might offend you.
Yes.
How much money do you have?
I'm about $1 million short of being a millionaire.
You're a realtor right now.
Yeah.
How much is your net worth, Sam?
I'm about $1 million short of being a millionaire.
You can't do this if you're a rookie, but this is what I would do. I'd say, Sam, what are you worth? Like, give me a business valuation on your assets, your financial plan. How much money do you have in the bank? And if you're like, dude, we're not a good fit, I'd be like, yeah, we're not, because I'm worth about 10 million bucks and you're not. Actually more. But I'm sorry, I'm not bragging. I just know more about money than you, and you just seem like you want to shove clients in a funnel. And that's the way you run your business. We're not a good fit. And I'll tell all my guys to stay away from you because all my guys are selling Smart Start. Your name's David.
I love
By the
that,
way,
Brendan.
your name's David Huffaker. You own 18 businesses. Keep chasing them, buddy.
I love it, Brendan.
Showed up 30 minutes late to lunch, left 15 minutes early, never said thank you. Go fuck yourself. This is the Keller guy that, like, the opportunity with the lead machine thing. Sam, it's chase your fucking tail. And by the way, McCain knows all of those leads that we got with this brand new cop realtor who didn't know his elbow from his ass on the team.
Every single one was a credit repair referral.
Every one of them was garbage.
No, I get it. I appreciate it. That's knowing your business and finding it, right?
Not
That's more important
yeah.
than anything.
Not everybody's a good fit at the end of the day. That's why they have a choice and we have a choice. And if you have enough business, you know, I mean, look, we all want more business right now, right? But the point is,
Not
don't
cherry
don't take shortcuts. You got to work. You have to work with people that are in line with you know how you want to do business. Period.
Yeah,
Because once you find them, it's a great feeling. You just may have to search a little bit longer to find it. That's all.
I love this
and the
call.
funny thing
I
is,
just want to say thank you.
Yeah, and probably, Michael, the biggest thing that is the biggest shift, if you guys read values-based selling, it's there's a lot of power in firing a client early. There's when someone said to me, "How do I save money?" I said, "Oh, you haven't been saving?" And they're like, "Well, no." And I said, "Well, you don't have a savings muscle. So here's how you do it. You get your next paycheck, and then you take $500 and you write it over to a financial planner and you say, put it in a money market account over here." Congratulations, you've done one little bench press. You have a savings muscle that you moved, right? When people get the power of saving and they start getting addicted to it, it's a habit. If you ever fire a client or a realtor, if you ever do it in a nice way, and Andy got to witness me fire a divorce attorney who was under contract, and I had just come back from a vacation. Andy, do you remember that call?
Yes, I do. I do.
Yes. And it was a wonderful feeling because I was so chill. And in the end, she used the line on me that it wasn't personal, it was business, because she had to leave after we locked her. I went on vacation and then she was shopping. And then I just said, "Joanna, this is our last call." And she was like, "Excuse me?" And I said, "Yeah, this is going to be the last time we work together." She goes, "Brendan, I think you're making a huge mistake. Like, I just told you, blah, 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 da, 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 blah, da, da, da." And I said, "Joanna, this isn't personal. This is business."
Is she Australian or English or South African
English.
or retarded?
She's English. You could put a piece of coal in her ass and turn it into a diamond.
It's an idiot.
Yeah, but Andy sat there. Andy, was I as chill as you've ever seen me?
Yes.
And guess what? Am I better off that I fired her because all of her chase up my tail divorce bullshit clients that she would refer, including herself?
Yeah.
So
I think I remember the line toward the end of the conversation was, "Joanna, you're going right, and I'm choosing to go left."
Yes.
Goodbye.
Yeah. And I've never looked back. It doesn't. And by the way, my best divorce planner person over the next 2 years would tell me what a scumbag that attorney was. She would go, hey, do you have one more second? I want you to call this client. Oh, let me tell you what happened with that attorney you used to work with. And I'd go, let's keep it short. But then she'd tell me some terrible story about overbilling, how she screwed up a case. And then the clients came to this divorce planner, and the divorce planner was like, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Let me fix it." Guys, the moral of today, do more past client real work. Try to get 5 Pathways appointments with past clients you like. Maybe do a Pathways appointment with 2 realtors, because realtors plan on buying, or a financial planner. Doesn't have to be your past clients. Write this down so that you can remember it. Here's why I do Smart Starts, and here's what's in the best interest of your client. And if you just put that on your social media, here's why I do Smart Starts. Here's my experience around Smart Starts for clients. And here's what I think they gain from a Smart Start. Here's what I've watched them do. It's very hard to refute tangible, real stuff. And that's where I don't care if Dave Savage, Barry Habib, all the greatest billion-dollar producers in the world tell me you're full of shit, Brendan. I'll say, great, you're a lone rate hawking salesman. I just don't do that. I'm sorry, you're an ambulance chasing attorney, and I'd rather be an attorney with less clients with more impact. I'm sorry. I'm never going to go the volume model for less revenue and higher stress. I'm going to go the consultant way. And until someone, which I'm all ears with Michael, if Michael and I see a way to improve Smart Start or the Pathways meeting or the Realtor meeting or the initial phone call, like we want to grow with each one of you to go, hey, how do you convert even better? Because ultimately, Sam knows this, if it's always, hey, I got to cut rate to get the deal, then whatever the value we built wasn't enough.
Mm-hmm.
Right? We want to be able to maintain our margins so we can get paid the comp plan that we agreed to. And like in the end, if you can get paid more and do less volume and keep your sanity, what's worth it? I mean, I've known 4 loan officers commit suicide. 4. 2 in Nashville. One was a major producer. She put the gas pipe, did the hose into her car, 3 kids.
Mm-hmm.
A beautiful lady, like physically like a cheerleader, super producer in a parking lot 10 years ago. Like mental health. And I'm not making light of this. I'm saying that's how serious it gets when we don't consider the ramifications of the stress. So ultimately, I'm going to pitch you guys on being consultants so that at the end of the day, you can at least smile and not get so upset about your stupid camera. By the way, you guys are going to see like a social media video of like, you know what it is? I think there's something wrong with the camera that shorts the mic that somehow has infected the computer. So now I just have to be on this like little laptop. And all this rig cost about $4,500. Gotta fire my technical guy.
All right, so 5 pathway meetings.
5 pathway meetings.
2 weeks. 2 weeks.
And maybe just a journal to yourself. The next go round. And by the way, here I want to show you something. If Benton can get you guys this, which is really just the journey. If you want to show a realtor your process, this is like, don't show them Smart Start, show them this. And this is just, hey, when we get the referral, here's what we do and here's how we set up Smart Start and come back to you. And Benton can get that over to you guys so you can see it.
Cool. Perfect.
Michael, are you at the beach?
Awesome.
I am. Yep.
Enjoy. Sam, thank you. Appreciate you guys.
Thank you.
See you guys. Bye.
Thanks, Brandon.
Thank you.
Have a good one.